Super Mario Sunshine is one of my favorite games of all time, which is why it pains me to tell you that Corona Mountain is the worst final level I have ever played, which is a darn shame since it surpasses so many other final levels in terms of its build-up and its idea. For example, you can see Corona Mountain no matter where you are on Isle Delfino. It really builds up the atmosphere and tension of this volcano that you know you're going to enter eventually. In addition, the idea of a volcano being the final level of a tropical island is quite genius, isn't it? I mean, what have you been doing this whole time? Using water to put out fire, clean up lava, and graffiti, and whatever else you have been. What's the antithesis of water, fire, and lava? It's just a darn shame that the people designing this game almost feel like they swapped out with people who didn't know what they were doing. I'm not really sure what happened. I guess you'll see as we go on and on. First, we have these instant death spikes. I think they hit you multiple times with a large amount of damage being dealt to you, but you have a very small chance of not dying because there's multiple hits involved. This makes me think that maybe they wanted to give you a chance of survival? Maybe? But like, the chance is so utterly slim, it basically feels like a glitch when it doesn't kill you. I'm not really sure. They fail at being instant death spikes, that was the intention because they hit multiple times and they don't deal the maximum amount of damage, and they fail at giving you another chance at life because they just kind of knock you back into each other. I'm not really sure what the game does we're going with here. You can hover over to them, and this is something about Corona Mountain I do like. It tries to use your nozzles in ways that are familiar to you, except it's just not fun. I mean, when you go through this first part of the level, I want you to tell me if you think I'm having fun, or if you had fun during this first part here. Everything else that you were doing in Super Mario Sunshine, whether it be that fun amusement park level, Peanut Park, or Delfino Plaza and its many different inhabitants, compare that to this. Did you just have fun watching me even go through that? I guarantee me going through Bianco Hills, just sliding down a hill that has water sprayed all over it would have been way more fun than that, but I digress. We're introduced to a mechanic here in the form of these lava Cheep Cheeps, with this one not being within the threshold of us hovering over to that spike trap. Now, I kind of get what they're going for here. Well, actually, I need to kind of show you what's over there first. You can see that Cheep Cheep way in the distance, there it goes in front of one of the spikes, right? And this one is meant to introduce us to that concept. And that's fair. I totally understand what they were doing, but it's not a fun concept. It's not a fun concept at all. As we keep going on, you're going to notice, oh hey, Corona Mountain isn't poorly designed in what it teaches players. It's just that what it teaches players is something that is really not fun to enjoy. Right here, I imagine it wanted us to like spray the thing, and then, you know, you're able to stand on it, right? Or you can just hover over it. Some players might be cringing at what I'm doing right now because you can actually just hover over to the fire and then use the water from your actual hover nozzle to put out the fire. But I feel like they wanted you to change between the squirt nozzle and the hover nozzle over and over again because they're trying to make you use what you used before, right? I'm trying to think from a game dev perspective. I mean, look, there's a reason why you're able to hit the fire from over here and over here. Right? There's a reason why you could put out all three of them at once. It's to open up the different paths. I understand if you're a speedrunner watching this video or someone who has played this game as much as I do, I understand why you might be cringing and that I'm not just doing this, but let's just look at it from the perspective that they probably wanted us to see it in. Maybe, perhaps, I could be wrong. So you could take different kinds of routes here, and that's cool, but what's the purpose of these routes? They don't feel very different from one another. They just kind of exist just cuz, and may as well have just been a straight line there. There was nothing new to look at. There were no coins over there. I'm not really sure what the point was. And if they were going to try and say, whoopsie, almost got hit there. I want you to take a moment here, actually. It might make more sense if I look back at it. There was nothing about that route that made it that much different from the other one. If the whole point of it was to avoid a certain game mechanic. Let's say for a moment how I would improve Corona Mountain by keeping this concept. I don't even think these things are good. I think these things are utter trash in terms of platforming. But let's say we kept them and tried to make something interesting out of them. I would have started it off the same way, but I would have made two different paths, one with spikes and one with the fire. Maybe there could have been a third path with both the fire and spikes. So if you wanted to take an alternate path that didn't contain either the fire or spikes that you weren't accustomed to, you could do that. You could take those different kinds of paths and you could actually feel rewarded for it. But there's a splitting path over there that doesn't feel like it accomplished much of anything. You still have to go through the same kind of aspects of the level and you're not rewarded with anything. So why was that split even a thing? I'm not really sure. It's just kind of there just to be there. It feels like they threw it in there because budget maybe? Honestly, that's what the whole level feels like, but we can save that for later on. That's not the worst part of the level though. The worst part of the level is undoubtedly the boat section, which has haunted people for literal years. You can still look up Let's Plays that are happening nowadays, and you will still see people die from this stupid boat. Now, the reason why I dislike the boat might be, well, it's actually similar, but let me show you. People complain about the boat mechanics and how it's frustrating to control. I actually disagree a little bit. I think that the boat makes sense in terms of how it's controlled. Let me lift us off here a little bit. Okay, so if you're on a boat in real life, right? And you're in the front of the boat, and I'm spraying this way, it would make sense for the push of the spray to make it turn left. That makes sense. Now, if I go down here and spray this way, now it would make sense for the whole boat to turn right, because now I'm in the back of the boat and I'm spraying this way. It makes total sense, right? Look, you're in the front, you get the point, right? The boat wasn't designed in a very stupid way. It makes sense. Again, it's just not fun at all. What was the point of this? What did they think was fun about this? Does this have anything to do with what we've learned up until this point? When was there a boat? Noki Bay? You mean that section of Noki Bay where there was like one small little lake that you had to cross over that you could have done with your hover nozzle or just, you know, swam? Some people may have not even encountered the boat up until this point. It's definitely possible. It's absolutely possible, actually. There was no point in Super Mario Sunshine where you were given a boat and you actually had to do something with it. So why this boat? Why didn't they give you some kind of training section for this boat anyways? Look, the part that we have to go through here is almost as hard as what we have to go through later on anyways, and yet there's no training section here. What was the whole point of this? I'm honestly dumbfounded that this even made it into the final game, and if it was actually fun, it would make some sense. But let me show you this. Whenever it runs into something that's solid, it gets completely destroyed. I'm just gonna ignore the fact that we have a wood boat on lava. Like, that's not an actual criticism. No one should really... Who cares? I mean, it's a criticism, but it's a pretty stupid one, I feel. Come on, who cares? Right? The whole idea is that you're trying to navigate this boat that's... Its physics makes some sense, but it's hard to come to a stop. That's my main issue with it, right? It's hard to come to a stop, and that's just not fun, right? Here, we're gonna give it a go. And the whole idea is that you're spraying over here. You're spraying at the back in order to make it go forward. By the way, I feel like most people had problems with this boat and its turning because they stood in the middle of the boat, which kind of confuses it. It doesn't know if you're trying to push it from the front or push it from the back. So it's just kind of like, I don't know which way I'm going. But if you're playing through this level again, I don't know why you would, just to torture yourself, then either stay in the front or stay in the back. Don't kind of confuse it by going in the middle, right? So I can easily turn whichever way I want just by making sure I know the directions. But here's the thing. I'm not saying that's a knock against players. Far from it. They should have taught you this. They should have been clever with their design, and they should have figured out how to communicate this to you. And I can't think of anything super explicit right now, but it's just frustrating. Now, they refill your water over here, I believe, and that is good, but look at how narrow this is. Have you ever tried controlling something that was this narrow? Look at this. Look at how ridiculous this is. Now, I'm experienced with this. I played a lot of Super Mario Sunshine, but I want you to see how narrow this hole is and how you have to kind of fit. Don't get your mind out of the gutter, by the way. I know someone's about to comment that. Don't do anything, alright? Alright, don't comment. Don't even timestamp this part of the video, okay? Alright? I will reply to you with an L. That's how you get your L, alright? I'm just letting you know. Don't do it. It gives you your water here, which is nice, just in case you had to spend a little bit of excess water to actually get over here in the first place with its god-awful controls. Whatever, I'm just gonna move on from this boat section, dude. This is really freaking annoying. It's almost so bad that I feel like trying to analyze it and find any of the good in it is just annoying. But I've got to tell you, the worst part about this boat is the fact that it's one of the only ways to collect the blue coins, which on this file is 100% completed. You won't see any blue coins, but for those of you that don't know, if you have 10 blue coins, you could turn them into a shop, which will grant you a shine sprite. There are 240 blue coins in the game, giving you 24 shine sprites, and there are some blue coins in this area. Not in the area we just went through, but in... Whoa, I almost screwed myself over there. That would have been kind of funny. But there are blue coins scattered all around, hovering above the lava, which you have to use the boat to navigate through all these different kinds of pillars, and if you touch one pillar, that boat's gone, you fall into the lava, you have to restart the entire level, which is again about having to wait, having to go on these kind of platforms that just instantly KO you. I didn't even mention that. The fire instantly KOs you. It will. Mario jumps on it, right? He goes, hi, 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 over and over again, and either you'll fall off into lava, instantly die, or you'll just keep getting hit by that fire, and then die that way, and the spikes basically instantly KO you. I'm not sure what they were trying to do there. Everything instantly KOs you here, and it just wasn't fun. How would I fix the boat section? Here's the thing. Don't have it be a boat section. You remember the hot springs from Pianta Village? Yeah. There are hot springs in Super Mario Sunshine. I'm pretty sure there are hot springs in multiple locations. Here's what I would have done. It would break game convention a little bit, right? Or I guess physics a little bit. Why is there, well, hot spring volcano, I'm sorry, I'm just gonna leave that be. Okay, I would make this section into kind of a hot spring section, right? Give you the turbo nozzle. Screw the freaking boat, dude. People love the turbo nozzle, but it was underutilized in Super Mario Sunshine, I can admit that. This whole section here should have been a bit longer. It should be made of hot springs. Players should be given the turbo nozzle, and certain strips should be made of lava somehow, right? You can make it work, make it blend into lava. Maybe there's a waterfall, right? Okay, maybe there's a waterfall of lava coming out from the wall, making a stream of lava in just this one area, right? Just that one area. Everything else is hot spring, right? So the player has to use the hover nozzle to move back and forth, right, at high speeds, and they can only cross the gap of lava by jumping with the hover nozzle. Makes sense, right? So you do that multiple times, and it can be pretty fun. You can be cruising inside of a volcano of hot springs, jumping over lava, and it'd be really cool. You can even include some of the pillars, which might burn you if you bump into them, right? That sounds way more fun, doesn't it? I know it sounds fun. I normally don't try to, like, tout my idea of what is better over what the actual game designers made. I don't try to do that too often and say my one's better. I know it's better, alright? If you think it's worse, then, you know, we heavily disagree. I think including the turbo nozzle here should have been a big deal, you know, to the developers. Look, they include the rocket nozzle. We have the squirt, we have the hover, we have the rocket. Where the heck is the turbo nozzle? It feels like it was used as an afterthought, and then they put this boat in for no reason. It's really frustrating, honestly, to have a game that you love this much and its final level goes against almost every convention of game design. It's really, really frustrating. And even if this boat thing was the first time you saw it, they should, if there's a new mechanic at the very end of the game, they should at least teach you it in a very fun way, or in a way that makes sense, at the very least, right? But they don't even do that here. Ay, ay, ay. I said that all here instead of us getting to the very end here because, well, this is probably the least bad part of the level. It's actually pretty good. I actually think it's really good. You got the rocket nozzle here. Let me show you why this part's probably the best part of the level. So this is actually a really good part of the level that utilizes the rocket nozzle well. The camera's actually very good too. You'll notice that every time we go onto a new cloud, the camera moves up automatically to show you the next clouds. You can even turn the camera to see where the clouds are. You're given an isometric perspective. It's very good, very nice, makes sense. You normally don't miss a cloud, and if you do, it tends to be your fault, right? They're also color-coded, so you can kind of get a sense for what level each cloud is on. So for example, you see that cloud down there, the very first one's more white, this one's more blue, these ones are more purple. So when I have the camera stretched out like this, I can tell which layer each cloud is on, and they kind of contrast each other. I think that's very clever. I think the fact that these ones are stationary at first, right? And then the next level is moving a bit. It kind of tests how you've been using the rocket nozzle up until this point. It tests it properly. You don't get that with the turbo nozzle for whatever reason. If the squirt nozzle and the hover nozzle were tested in similar ways that were actually fun, like you see here, then it would be good, and you aren't instantly KO'd either. Why is this the easiest part of the level anyways? Like, if you were gonna have instant KO stuff in a final level, you would imagine it'd be near the end, right? But no, the instant KO stuff is at the very beginning. This stuff is actually quite nice to you. Let's say I miss a cloud. Check this out. Oh no, I missed the blue cloud. Oh man. Oh no. What, I take 1 damage? Who freaking cares? Heck, I could have just ground pounded to negate my damage there actually, so it wouldn't have mattered at all. At no point do these clouds actually go over the lava so far that you would actually fall into the lava. And even if it was over the lava by like quite a bit, then you can correct your course pretty quickly. And we're about to see the very top of this area as well. There's a 1-up mushroom there. Doesn't really matter too much, but you can actually spray it to make the cloud bigger. Now Zoomzyke, that's kind of weird. How are players supposed to know that that's a thing? Well, in Pianta Village, there's some clouds that have that kind of deal, and it's a bit more straightforward. I'm not going to say that it's much better than the boat, but there are parts of this game where you spray clouds and make them bigger. The Sandbird is another example. It's much more likely that you encountered clouds in Super Mario Sunshine that you can make bigger than encountering that stupid little boat. Anyways, we're gonna... Whoops. Okay. You can actually hang on to the cloud. That's pretty interesting. I'm gonna stop complaining about Corona Mountain. I got to the end of that. Whatever, dude. We're gonna do a bonus round. I'm gonna talk about why the final boss is garbage. Okay. I don't think... This is something I'm doing spur in the moment. I didn't plan this. Whatever. We're gonna roll with it, though. I don't even know how that Sunshine's there. Now, I'm just gonna... Actually, I'll just let the cutscene play out. This is great. I love Bowser's voice here.
Mario! How dare you disturb my family vacation?
Just, I love hearing the Bowser, like, "Rawr," afterwards. Now, I think the music is gonna cut out here real quick, so I'm just gonna kind of hop off. Now, my problem with this final boss is by no means the idea of it. Okay, when I say idea of it, by the way, I mean more from an aesthetics perspective. Or, you see this part here, right? Him being in a hot tub. Yes, I know it's stupid. The hot tub thing has always been stupid. I don't know where they are. Are they in the sky right now? I think they're in the sky. Did we just, like, take a cloud to the top of the mountain? We're not in Corona Mountain anymore. That's what you basically have to know. We're not in Corona Mountain anymore. We're in the sky. I think there's a big hot tub in the sky. It's really stupid. Bowser's voice can be stupid. I don't mind it, alright? Super Mario Sunshine was never really meant to be this whole serious thing, so I feel like if someone's going to criticize this boss for being kind of goofy and silly, that's kind of stupid, honestly. Like, we're not going to judge a game based on the same kind of things that, well, a silly game based on the same kind of things that a more serious game is going to do. It's funny I say that because Mario, like, got jailed in the very beginning of this game. So, this boss, much like I've been saying for almost all of Corona Mountain, well, I guess you could say it suffers from Corona Mountain symptom, or the Corona Mountain disorder. This boss just isn't fun. It's kind of glitchy. You see this green acid, I think, this green goop just kind of fall over, and sometimes it can hit you even though you feel like it didn't, and sometimes it can hit you and not have a hitbox. It's very strange. There's an over-reliance on the rocket nozzle, I feel, and the other nozzles are just kind of taken apart. It just feels like the developers didn't really put that much thought into figuring out how they could get the player to use everything that they've learned over the course of the game in a proper final boss battle. I mean, you use the squirt nozzle and you can stop Bowser from spraying fire there, but like, who did that, right? We all just use the rocket nozzle in order to, like... I don't know, man. It's just frustrating. Corona Mountain's very frustrating. It does everything I don't want in a Mario game. It's very restrained. It doesn't use all the different mechanics we've learned. Every time it does decide to do that, it's incredibly unfun, has tons of instant death, has this stupid boat section, the music isn't even good. But look, you can even see it in the background there. It's crazy, dude. How are you gonna man, how are you going to make a game like Super Mario Sunshine where the whole culture is just connected like this? And wait, hold on a second. This is the saddest scene I've ever seen in anime. This actually made me cry when I was 4 years old. Check it out. Oh, this killed me.
Mario was
Oh. Oh, dude. I'm almost getting teary-eyed just looking at it. It's just like, I don't remember crying, frankly, but like, my dad told me I cried at that part. I really like Flood. I don't know why I got so attached. Maybe it was because it was my first Mario game. I'm not really sure, dude. What a nice ending. Why did I play through all that? And this is the thing. This is what's great about Sunshine. You can play through a level like Corona Mountain, and then you see that cutscene, you see everything that's happening here, and now you're happy again, right? It's trying to make you forget what you just went through. Whatever, dude. Corona Mountain, I hate it. If you like it, I mean, that'd be nice. It'd be nice for someone to like Corona Mountain. You could still see it there, dude. We got Bowser over here. Bowser, I'm not gonna let you finish, dude. I'll see you guys later for more of the June Zoom. This one was... This one, like the TikTok clock in Coconut Mall, this one was really off the cuff, might I say. Not sure if it was better for that reason or worse, but I'm gonna fight. I wanna fight that Mario again. In Smash. Alright, I'll see you guys later for more of the June Zoom. See ya.